Hey folks, this is Best in Slot. Welcome back to our Prehistoric Kingdom playthrough, and we're back to the speed builds and the time lapses. The idea for this series was to avoid doing this for a little while, and then I started today's build, and it took 2.5 hours, so I didn't really have much choice in the matter, I'm afraid. And I think it's better to show you guys the entire build, as opposed to having to cut out 2 hours worth of build work. This is not the build. This right here, I'm just kind of showcasing a little bit of the start of the park. I did go back and do some decoration and put in some stuff and make it all look a little bit nicer. Today we're going to focus on the first of our Ceratopsid canyons. As of right now, I still don't know what Ceratopsid it's going to be. I think it's going to be a Styracosaurus. And the idea I had in my head, always like a little bit of an idea, was that this is essentially a dried up riverbed kind of thing, and as you watch the water trickle along this dried up riverbed, it builds up and up and up until eventually it kind of coalesces into an oasis, essentially. And that's the general idea of what we're going to go for. So we're going to start things off with a bridge. You're going to walk over the top of the dried riverbed, and then you're going to be able to walk around the side and kind of just see it turn over time. It will be made primarily in sand, but it is very, very difficult to see what on earth you're doing when you're building in sand. It's actually hard to use the UI in general when there's a lot of sand everywhere, because it kind of washes out the white colours of the text. Maybe that's something that needs to be looked into now that I think about it. I'm going to mention that, but anyways, the idea here, so you can see here, this is the curve of the river. The riverbed itself is going to be quite small, and then it's going to kind of expand out into a staggered, raised area where our dinosaurs can chillax a little on the right-hand side, and then a pool at the far end, which will have an oasis, is the general idea. Don't know how I'm going to do another canyon after this and make it interesting. I would like to try building a building. We haven't really done any building work yet. You guys know it's not my favourite thing. We're not going to do much of it in my playthroughs in general. This is kind of my shebang right here. But we will do a little bit. So yeah, just building the oasis. Speaking of my shebang, somebody commented in the last video, you know, we did our Microraptor habitat, and they said the words, "Best in Slot, this is too many rocks, even for you." To that I say, you just bloody wait. Anyways, just trying to get a hang of this. This is a big problem right now in that fences and paths and stuff like that when they're near water, they just don't function. So you have to make sure you put your terrain work in and your water in first, before your paths go in, and the fence I just wanted like a basic shape. But you can see how much the game is struggling to have the water anywhere near the terrain. Like, as soon as I put the water in, the train goes like, nope, I'm out, I'm done, like, runs away. I mentioned that now, however, I know for a fact that's getting fixed. They posted about it on the Prehistoric Kingdom Discord last night on, what day was it yesterday? Sunday, I think. So, it won't be a problem for too long. And, like, eventually you won't have to put the path in. Afterwards, you'll be able to put the path in first and kind of build around it, which I think would make more sense. But, couldn't do that for this video, so we just have to make a penis, and then we're gonna grab our set, and this is how you make a bridge in Prehistoric Kingdom. Basically, what we have to do is we use the roof items, and we put those on the ground. You can do it flat, or you can do a little bit of a ramp. We might introduce a ramp for the next habitat, so we can mess around with that a little bit more. And the bridge isn't going to be anything too fancy. I don't know what I'm doing here. I think I decided that was too much walking. This is my thing, like, we're messing with dinosaurs now, but I like my exhibits to be moderately small, because I think you can focus more on the detail work, so I need to kind of try to get out of that habit. Just putting in a basic fence. I don't know how the dinosaur escape mechanics work. Also, I deleted my bridge by accident, because I'm very intelligent. I don't know how the dinosaurs walk out. Eventually, again, this is another thing that's getting added. You know, like in Planet Zoo, where you can check the navmesh and see where they can walk. We'll be able to do that as well, so again, short-term concerns, this is still an alpha. Keeping the game paused. The guests are monsters. Now, I apologise we skipped forward a little bit here. It's just because, at the start I was planning to do a normal recording. I thought, okay, I'll just build a bridge, and then we'll focus on the actual habitat. And then I changed my mind, so I built a bridge. But lots more still to do, so all I've done here is, still got the glass bottom on it, there's little glass side panels in the middle, because, you know, it's nice to be able to look over the edge and view things, and then some of the wooden panels at the side of those. And then I took the sticks, which is what we're looking at now, and very, very terribly did this. It was uneven, as you can see right now. I don't know how I didn't notice so late on. It was all poorly planned from the start, and a real pain he has to deal with. There we go. I've managed to center it, but then the actual thing is the wrong size and all this kind of nonsense. But it was based on a bridge I saw in real life, which I thought looked pretty nice. It had this kind of staggered wooden panel effect, and I'm going to try to keep to wood and concrete and sort of slightly more natural feeling materials wherever possible throughout this park, just because it does have that kind of rough and tumble, sandy kind of look to it, which I will say I've really enjoyed because it's made me build differently. But I kind of regret it. Prehistoric Kingdom has, like, people keep sharing these beautiful screenshots of Prehistoric Kingdom, and one of the things that makes even the most basic exhibits in this game look really good is that the grass texture is actually really, really nice. The grass looks like it's flowing and it's lush and it's beautiful, and I never get to play with it anymore because I'm building a bloody desert park. So there are some slight regrets there, but when it comes to the oasis for the ornithopods, we're just going to straight up do a whole tropical section. Like, the whole area is going to be one big oasis. So that'll make me feel better, basically, because I don't want to keep waiting for grass. Anyways, some very exciting fence work here. Now, what you could in theory do here is just grab one fence piece and scale it all the way across. And the scaling is immensely helpful. You'll see it probably in a second. Yeah, just that. I wanted it to hit the edge of the bridge, the fence. Usually what we would do, I'm going to compare it to Planet Zoo because it is a very similar game in a lot of ways. But usually in Planet Zoo, what you do is if your fence doesn't quite reach where you want it to, you'd have to come up with something else. You'd put a rock in there and a sign or something like that. In this, you just shrink the fence piece. It's incredible. Like, if you haven't played lots of... Look, right there. Just, oh, it doesn't reach? We'll just shrink it. It's fine. Done. It's so good. And if you're not, like, building all the time, maybe you won't appreciate it. But trust me, it is an absolute game changer. It works gangbusters. And it works even better on the rocks, as we'll see very soon. But yeah, that's the basic idea right there. You're going to walk along. There's going to be grass and stuff. It's like a boundary between you and the fence. If you want your exhibits to look better, always do a double fence. For some reason, I don't know, it just has like a zoo feel to it, because people don't want animals, people don't want you banging on the glass and stuff like that, so, I mean, people do bang on the glass anyway. If I could, I would spend my days at the zoo telling parents to get their kids under control. Just to stop them annoying the animals. But just being able to, you know, oh, we've got a concrete beam, but I need a skinny concrete beam. May as well just shrink it. Easy peasy. It's wonderful. It makes building so enjoyable. It really does. When's rock time? I'm bored. I'm always waiting for rock time. It's always rock time. But the idea, this is nothing, just a staggered little reveal down into the waterways. Basically nothing complex. Somewhere for the animals to actually sit. Now it's rock time. So I'm going to start off like this. I should have scaled already. This was a mistake. But the edges of this area, because of how the path works before the patch, has this kind of rough texture to it, which really doesn't look good. It looks fake. So initially, I'm just going to cover all of the walls in rock. And obviously this is replicated and not particularly unique. These pieces of rock, it kind of looks like a big cake, you know, when they put hazelnuts around the side of a cake. That's the feeling I kept getting from it. But we will be adding lots more rocks, of course, to make it feel more unique and stuff. You won't notice that this has been replicated by the end. It's just nice to have a base to work on, rather than trying to make it unique right from the get-go. Had to go find my favourite rock, which is this one. This one right there, because when you sink it into the ground, especially like just over the land, you get this kind of really nice cracked, staggered kind of effect. And we have a big ass rock, and we're going to put in hundreds of them. I think the total build is like 600 rocks or something ridiculous. And these are max size rocks, so they take up a lot of room, but there's still 600 of them. I went a little bit nuts, but it's a dried up riverbed. And it's a rocky riverbed as well. It's not a riverbed, oh god, we went even bigger. It's not a riverbed sitting on mud or anything, it's a riverbed that sits on rock, you know, this is a thing. And it's kind of the vibe of the... I don't have to justify myself to you, YouTube. Leave me alone. If I want to use 1,000 rocks, I'll use 1,000 rocks, okay? One day I'm going to do 1,000 rocks, just to spite you all. So that's actually the max size. It felt really small for that rock, but when you zoom in, that rock's usually absolutely tiny. And you realise, oh, I've already scaled it up absolutely tons. As you can see, some of these, I mean, it doesn't necessarily look huge, but I am pretty far zoomed out, you know. This is a big exhibit, and these rocks are taking up a lot of room. And this is where the comparison to Planet Zoo comes in fairly favourably, because I think about how long this would have taken me on Planet Zoo, and it hurts my soul. And, you know, on not just Planet Zoo, but like every park builder ever made, basically, the ability to scale up your building materials is so good. I will rant about it positively to the end of my days. It makes a humongous, humongous difference. Oh, I want to talk about something. If you're still watching this video and you don't have Prehistoric Kingdom, I keep getting comments from people asking about how you buy the game. And basically you can't at this point in time, so the game is now in alpha. It isn't meant to be, it's not like some big public release, that's not what it's meant to be. At the moment we're bug testing and quality of life fixing and stuff like that, so the game will not be in sale now publicly until Q3 this year, which is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So one of the 3 months the game will hit early access on Steam, and then you'll be able to buy it. And the game's going to be so much better then, in a way. You know, it is, as much as I'm loving it, it's very limited in its current form, and we are just trying to get bugs fixed. Well, I'm not doing anything, but they're just trying to get bugs fixed, and eventually start to wheedle in some more content, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, rocks. There's not much to talk about when all I'm doing is shoving rocks in. But they look so good. It looks so very, very good. I couldn't find one to fit in this blimmin' gap here, though. You know, one sort of half did it, yeah. But yeah, I really wanted to kind of emphasize this feel of a trickle of water that's quite, you know, thin as well, and it's kind of wheedle between the rocks, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it sort of gushes down. That's disgusting. I hate the word gush. Shut up, world. I would love a waterfall at the end as well. Again, waterfalls are coming, I believe. So, like, at the end where the oasis is, we could have the oasis kind of supplied by a waterfall. That'd be really cool, but that's a future thing, potentially. Yeah, more it's just rocks. I'm not sure what to tell you. I don't know what to add. I mean, I enjoy doing it. This might look tedious, but I really enjoyed it. Like, I just get to play around with massive rocks for an hour. It's like a dream. It's what I want to do as a child and an adult. Yeah, this was the point where I kind of committed to just tons of rocks. I just thought, you know, we'll just cover the whole thing. If you are playing the game, make sure you double save, by the way, because saves do get corrupted. We're done with the rocks. It's now foliage time. That's a big-ass tree. It's too big. But the trees have been scaled up quite a bit just because the general size of the exhibit's really large, and I wanted it to have that kind of sense of scale and of this ancient, old, dried-up creek bed. We did have, again, just rescale it, because why not? Just stretch it and scale it and bop it and boop it. Squeeze it. Squeeze it. I did have a bit of a theme, and that was like this world lost in time through rifts. So I'm going to say this is like a crack in time right here. This whole riverbed is like a prehistoric riverbed that's been ripped out from time and then plonked here in the middle of our zoos. I haven't really committed to the theme in a big way in my exhibit build yet. This is a nice exhibit, I think. It ends up looking nice as we build the oasis here. I think it ends up looking pretty good. But it's not got a wow factor quite yet. It doesn't have an exhibit that's, I mean, I've only done 2. One of them's the Microraptors. I'm not being too harsh on myself here. But it doesn't have like, you know, if you think about my old builds, things like the docks or the cave underground, stuff like that, it doesn't have that yet. It needs something. I wanted the grass in because I did want it to be lusher, but it looks utterly ridiculous. So we spend a little bit of time now just bringing in other textures, softening the grass. You should still get this little hint of grass, this little hint of green every now and again to kind of emphasize that this area is more verdant than the rest. Top tier word. But it was too much, basically. And here, just give me a little texture. Can't have it just be sandy. Sand's boring. Well, sand's great, but too much. And too much of that as well. These are pebbles. Thought that made a lot of sense, but I kind of want them to slowly fade up onto the land. Really, the biggest trick with the texturing is just to have a very faint brush, 20-25%, something like that, and just doppel, just little doppels, little baby doppels. Bloop, 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 bloop. That's what a doppel sounds like, by the way. And just slowly remove bits, bit by bit. And you see, eventually it has like a little grassy vibe to it, but it's faint because there's a lot of rock. And I decided at this point I'm going to bring in some I'm worried that I've used a fern. I might have to go get rid of those. Ferns are bad. Ferns are like an outdated texture or something, apparently. An outdated model. So they're going to get removed in a future patch. Also, they'll come back. We'll have new ferns eventually. But the point is they'll get removed and therefore... oh god, I got rid of it. And therefore it might break your game. So I'll have to go make sure I haven't kept that. Anyways, lots more greenery now. At some point I thought I'll do this fairly subtly. But I've already got this big, rocky, dried riverbed. At some point I have to play with some foliage or I will lose my mind. Like, the rocks are fantastic and I love them, but I need a little bit of green in my life, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. So, yeah, decided to just kind of go for it. And just, you know, it doesn't need to be particularly realistic. It just has to sell no realism, just vibes. That is my new motto for my builds from now on. No realism, just vibes. And that's what we're going for. It doesn't matter if this isn't a realistic thing. It has a vibe of this rocky oasis in the middle of a dried up riverbed, which is what I wanted to look like. The lily pads, they're gigantic. Who cares? They've got the right vibe. They look like lily pads and they're big. I like that. I'm going to change that to my channel motto. Oh god. I actually put too many lily pads in as well. I end up getting rid of some of them at some point. But yeah, like initially I was limiting myself to the shrubland. I really like this, by the way. If you make that thing, what's it called again? The rushes, the reeds, whatever you want to call them. If you make them huge and kind of stagger them behind something, it's got a really nice kind of look to it. It just looks like a different plant. It doesn't necessarily look like a giant reed. It just looks like a different piece of foliage. Plus, people don't know all the different prehistoric foliage we had. You know, we can kind of pretend that some of this stuff is real. Because why not? Basically. I do miss proper trees though. I don't like the shrubland trees. And that's not because they're not good or anything. They're beautiful and they're accurate, blah, 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 blah. But I like my big chunky trees, you know, and I don't really get to play with those, which is why I want to do a full-on... Basically, for the ornithopods, it's going to be a full-on tropical zone with the sands of time creeping in from the outside. That's the idea. I don't know why. There's never an explanation. But if anyone has any ideas for the next Ceratopsid enclosure, feel free to hit me up in the comment section down below. I'm definitely still racking my brain a little bit. I kind of want to build a giant Ceratopsid skull. Which is definitely on my mind. I kind of want to do like a viewing area and a bit more human-centric thing here, because I don't want to do it later on. So, I don't know. If anyone has any ideas, feel free to hit me up. But I'll come up with something, I'm sure. Yeah. Little dashes of colour as you go along. Not too much. It's kind of, you know, in the same way that the water builds up, the greenery should build up. Big ass rock. I'm going to bring in some of these. These are the grassland rocks, I believe. Are these grassland? I think these are grassland. Just because they look wet, which is nice. But they also look, I'd say, a little bit more lifelike. They've got a little bit more vavavoom. And they also don't blend in as much with the surrounding sand. So I'm bringing these in just to add a little bit of variation and colour to the build. I think these two types of rock go together really nicely. And it's also, if you've gone a little bit too hard on the foliage, then bringing in new rocks is a nice way to cut through that a little bit, because you're inevitably going to stagger some of these rocks over the top of your foliage. Yeah, I think it looks really nice. It's cool. I'm very excited to actually have some dinosaurs in it, which I've not done at this point in time. Only a little bit of work left to go. Am I gonna put the fence in? Yeah, you should be very excited about watching me do this. Oh, wait for it. Oh, no. Oh, we need a little baby fence. Oh, there's a little baby fence. I love it. It's so good. Yes, I'm just going to make a fence. I like double fencing, and it means you can put decorations and stuff along the way, and signposts and stuff like that. I actually need a signpost for this as well. I haven't done that either. Styracosaurus River. No, it's Styracosaurus Stream? Potentially, I guess. Pachyrhinosaurus Parrot. No, I don't know. I think it's something. You guys can help me with that as well. Do all my work for me, basically. I'll do the tedious stuff. You do the brain think goodness. How's that for a deal? We should be near the end now. Oh god, it's longer than I thought. Right, just adding some more fence. And then we're going to fill in the gap with some brushes and stuff like that, just to give it a little bit of vavavoom. It's funny, I mentioned in the last video how amazing the foliage brush is. I'm using it a little bit here because I really like to have thick forest around the back of my habitats. I think it lends this air of size to things in a way. But I don't think I'm going to use it much in my habitats. I think I'd have to build a humongous habitat. Maybe if I was building like a big forest, I would consider it. But generally speaking, I think I like still placing my foliage individually, basically. I think if you're trying to do quicker exhibit builds, it is an absolute lifesaver. And I'm not going to write off using it because I can see some builds where I would. But generally speaking, just having the option to do both is super nice. Because I like having that control. My Dom, what can I say? Yeah. No, we're going to make a little bit of colour here, I think. Just a little sparkling of yellow in there, make it a little bit more interesting. And we're going to bring in some trees, we're going to bring in some rocks, just, I don't know, liven it up a little bit. Some people built some really interesting, like, little map stands and information boards and stuff like that. We might do something like that. I do need to build a sign. Oh, yeah, I need to fix that as well. Look at that! Look at it! Can't get over it. My god, it blows my mind. It just means you can have these, like, super neat and tight. Oh no, is that a fern? Oh no. Right, remind me when we go into the video I have to delete the ferns. It just means you can have these really super neat and tidy joints. Nothing has to be messy, nothing has to be hidden. All the fences can clip really nicely into each other. It's a hoot, I'm telling you. Absolute hoot. When it comes to Christmas this year, you know, the family gets together. This is what I'll be talking about. Other people, yeah. I'll talk about this briefly. Humans basically do whatever the hell they like. I'm surprised none of them are in the habitat, if I'm totally honest, because bridges tend to have that problem. At the moment, they're just walking through my garden, which is chill. I can get over that, although they shouldn't. It's very rude. Again, that's being fixed. Again, alpha. You know, all this stuff is stuff that's going to change over time and get better. We get to be here for it. I really like that as well. I love seeing games grow and develop over time, and frankly, Prehistoric Kingdom is the ultimate example of that. Those of you who've been watching me for a long time will know I say this about a lot of dinosaur games, that I like seeing them get better and better as time goes by. Very rarely do I get that opportunity because the majority of them die pretty quickly, other than this and Evolution. I can't think of any games I've seen. But I'm sure there are some, like if you're into the Isle or something. Okay, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I mean, you know, I was following this game 6 years ago, so seeing it become this is really exciting for me every single time I load up the game, basically. Oh, little gap. Oh, we just stretch it. Oh. Okay, we are done. We're going to hop in game. I'm going to show you a brief little tour of the starting area, because I did make that on my own time. And then we'll bring in some Styracosaurus into our river. We'll hang out with them for a bit. Maybe we'll build the entrance sign, probably not though. And then we'll talk a little bit about the future. Oh, future together, YouTube. I'll see you guys in a sec. I just realised, and some of you may have spotted during the video, during the saving screen, that this isn't called the Desert Zoo, this is called the Dessert Zoo, which sounds delicious, but maybe not quite what I meant to do, so I'll have to fix that, I think. So, here we are. We're going to keep the game paused. Nice. Screw. Usually I pause it because it stops the humans approaching as they emerge from the darkness. But we'll keep it going for now. So here we go. Let me just turn the UI off as we go through. Yeah, nothing too complex here. Just made like a little raised area here on the left with some stuff. Little triangle there. There's our Microraptor sign. Microraptor GUI. GUI. Which is very exciting. I think we'll have more Microraptors. Someone suggested it would have lived in the same environment as Tarbosaurus. So I think having them at like the back of the Tarbosaurus habitat, just kind of in the tree line, would be really cool. But yeah, nothing particularly intense, just rocks and fencing and stuff like that. The fencing is a joy to work with. Updated this fence a little bit with like a double system, just because I think that's usually a good idea. And let's move on. I need to put something here. Here, I think we're going to say Ceratopsid Canyon in like a big sign. And then you're going to cross over. There's the bridge. Yeah, it's quite nice, I think. Worked out pretty well. It's got like a double sort of blue, I don't know, double layer thing of wood. I don't have anything intelligent to say about that. It's got some wood on it, basically. Looks alright. So walk along if you wanted to. You can look down at the ground, or you can indeed, of course, look through the actual railing at the side. Which I guess this actually blocks people looking over the side. I'll have to see. How tall are they? How tall are you, human? Right, let's get inside her head. Hello, human head. I think it's okay. I think as long as you're not a child. Ooh. Okay, if you were, I would be able to see over the top, but she can't, basically, is what we'll go with. Anyway, so let's just take a look at this riverbed. So we start over here, as I say, just little bits of water, none over here on the right, lots of rockage, it's all collapsed inwards, some of the trees have been crushed and hidden, some of them are just barely clinging on to life or not at all, and you kind of move on. It's not much to talk about it, it's about theming. Move on, we've got rocks everywhere, falling over, they're all under the water. I'll tell you what, let's actually go into camera mode. Although I can't seem to hide the UI in camera mode, so I'm going to turn it off again. So we move forward, and this is where the dinosaurs would hang out. We've got a couple of feeders sitting on there, and we have billions of rocks. And you see the plant life starting to pick up a little bit, you know, little dabbles here and there, a little bit more dabbles, and this tree is moderately less dead than the other trees. And then keep on going, go down the river. And we hit the oasis. Now, I don't know how much they'll be able to actually hang out here without clipping all over the place. I feel like I would clip all over the place, but yeah, there it is. There's our river, oasis, park build thing. And let's hop inside. Very exciting. And we're going to make, I think it's going to be Styracosaurus. I've been going back and forth between Nasuto. Oh, it's Nasuto, not Pachyrhino. Nasuto Nadia. No, I think the thing I like about the Styraco is because it's spiky. Actually, you know what we should do? We should base it on the skin. See, this one and this one have that kind of rocky vibe, and then this one's a bit of oasis. It's perfect. It just is. I'm trying to think, male or female, colours and stuff like that. We might just get one of each, honestly, at this point in time. Live the dream. How much cash do I have? I should have tons, in theory. Yeah. Yeah, cash is not an issue. There we go. Nice little mix, I think. Yeah. Okay, dinosaurs. Select all and release. Here we go. Let's just dash them around a little bit, spread them about. I'm not sure. I suddenly got a slight concern they're not going to be able to get past the log. Maybe they'll be able to get... Oh no. I can actually find out. Oh, they can walk through the log. Can they walk through the log? I think they can walk through the log. Let's do some science. I'll put it inside the log and we'll find out. I need to see a dinosaur. Okay, there we go. That's good. That's a good sign. You, buddy. Andrew, come over here. Pal. Andrew, I need you to walk forward. Andrew, come here. Good Styracosaurus. Fred, get out of the way. Oh, Fred might go for it himself. Fred's a madman. Yes, get in there, Fred. Okay, Andrew, I don't need you to test anymore. Andrew, come with me. You're going to go... I don't know if they're actually going to go into the river, but... Oh, there is. Yeah, very cool. Happy chappy right now. I'm going to give them a minute. Eventually, they'll stop moving. Andrew hasn't moved. Andrew has remained motionless in the area that I left him in. Andrew has no desire to ever move from his home. Andrew, what are you doing? You mad lad. Is you going to hang out? Or walk inside each other? Nope, you're going to walk inside each other. Which I guess is what people mean by hang out these days anyway, so that's okay. I do love the Styraco. This is our first proper dinosaur. No offense, Microraptor, you're a lovely thing, but this is our first proper dinosaur. Oh, there we go. There you go, Andrew. Yes, Andrew! Coming in large. Chad. Nope. Yeah, so there's a pretty good chance I would say that the dinosaurs really struggle navigating this environment, which is unsurprising and totally my fault, but I have no regrets. Andrew, you were sitting down, it's going to be so cool. You're now frozen in place again. Can they only hang out up there? I think so. I might have to see if I can... I might get rid of some of the rocks in the riverbed just to make them... I mean, look, I can trace the navmesh. Like so. So they can walk around, they're just choosing not to, basically. Styracosaurus, not stream. I don't like the stream. I'll have to think of another word. Styracosaurus... survival. I don't know. Yes, look at that. Wait. Look, camera mode, quickly! Before they leave. It's time. That's my thumbnail right there. Okay, so I need, what we need to do is not fill the time of day, that's what we need. Gotta try to catch it in the right light. This looks nice, but it's actually a little bit too harsh. Is that better? Oh no. Can't wait till we can change things like fog. That's going to make me very happy. You guys know what I'm like with fog. Very cool. Okay, folks. Right, I will just look at my dinosaurs forever. So we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for joining me. Very happy so far. I think this is a good start. If you have any suggestions or ideas, feel free to hit me up. I think I'd like to maybe try and build a dome. But I'm wondering about how I'd fold that in. Because I just think this is so circular that it's meant for a dome, you know? But I don't really know how that would work at this point in time. Or how I'd integrate the sandiness. But I'll have a little think. You guys can hit me up with any suggestions you have. I will see you lovely folks in that next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.